Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today we're going to be making a card using Stampin' Up's Prized Peonies and their dies. I hope you'll stay tuned. Well, I bought this set of stamps and dies, and I wasn't really sure about how to put the die together, so I thought I would walk you through that as well as the card. The first thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to be coloring a few pieces, and the most important thing I want to color is going to be the bud and the stem and these smaller leaves. So the first thing I want to do is I stamped out a bunch of the images because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with them. And of course, when I stamped them out, I also got a little ink on it because that's my deal. I got a little purple ink where I didn't want it. So I'm going to use this I'm on a Stampin' Up bender today. Old Stampin' Up punch. In case you wondered, I never sold Stampin' Up. Clearly, I bought some stuff though. There is, I don't know what you call this. It's some kind of label. I don't know what kind. Label punch. We're going with that. Maybe that's a lie too, but that's what it looks like upside down. So what I decided I wanted to do is first I want to color one of these images. I think I'm going to go with this one right here. I'm fond of this color, which is, for you, since you don't know what this color is, it's called Olive Green 942, and this is Moss Green 543. But this green doesn't seem to be as, it doesn't leave behind as much pigment, I don't think, as the other one does. So I'm going to color my whole leaf. Both of these leaves, because we're going to put these, I think, on here. I might be lying. And I should have colored that bud, because I'm going to use this bud even though I'm not using the leaf it's coming with, and I'm just going to hand cut that out because I've cut this out before and I didn't love it, to be honest with you, because I had to cut a bunch of things. But I do like the stem and I do like the leaves. So we're going to go with the leaves that are attached to this stem. As I said, gonna have to cut all this out by hand. I don't know what I'm gonna do about this though. It's right in the middle of that leaf. Probably gonna have to whack that leaf off now that I think about it. And then we're gonna do this one. Okay, and I did both of those with the olive green. Then we're gonna just put in the lines with this darker green, and I'm going to go back over these. I'm going to do a little strip of the darker green in here, and a little strip into that leaf, and then back to these we've got to do. If you'd like a COVID update, I will give you one. You would think almost a month later, well actually it is a month later, that I would be over everything, but in the last week, I've had some really weird, we'll call it, I don't know what we'll call, after the fact side effects? I don't know what you can call them. But here's what happened. I started having some issues with my breathing again, which I don't know why I would have issues with my breathing a month out, but I am. And so I went to my doctor, and she wants me to have a chest x-ray, but of course it was late enough in the week that I couldn't get in before the week was over, and so I'm going to be doing that at the beginning of next week. But she told me something I didn't know about COVID. I know nothing about COVID. I'll be honest with you. When I was in the hospital, if I didn't tell you this, I'll tell it to you now. When I was in the hospital, I saw no doctors. I rarely saw nurses, and that was because every time they come into your room, they have to put on a new plastic gown, and every time they leave your room, they have to take that plastic gown off. So it's really a lot of work for them to come visit you if they can avoid it. So they really do try to avoid that unless they can't help it. And if they can't help it, then they can't help it. But they don't try to come in your room unless they can help it. But anyway, back to my story. So I never saw any doctors except for in the emergency room. And then when I was in my room, basically the only person that I saw, and that was only when she discharged me, and one other time, I saw a PA. That was it. Physician's assistant, for those of you who don't know that term. Anyway, so like I said, I really didn't see anyone, and so no one told me anything about, you know, what was going on, what I could expect. They did give me a packet of information to read about what I could expect, but I chose not to read that because I was, you know, when you leave the hospital, you're exhausted. It is such a long, arduous process being in the hospital when you can't talk to your, well, see your family members, and you can't really do anything but call them on the phone. It's draining, and COVID is draining. Well, what I found about a month out is that I'm more tired now than I was when I had COVID. Everybody else said they were more tired when they had COVID, but not me. I'm much more tired now. So I'm not sure why that is, and I'm not sure why sometimes I have difficulty breathing. I will tell you the masks are almost impossible for me to breathe through sometimes. Sometimes not a problem, other times problem. So, like I said, I'm going to get a chest x-ray, and hopefully that will tell me exactly what's going on. I'm going to cut some of this out so I can cut it easier. So anyway, bottom line, I have no idea why I am the way I am, but I'm hoping next week I'll find that out. And if any of you know anyone who's had COVID, who ended up in the hospital with pneumonia, could you tell me if a month out, if they were still short of breath? Because this is kind of weird for me. I mean, I've had pneumonia a couple times before in my life, but this one has been a lot more, it's been a lot stranger than the other times. The other times it seemed like I didn't struggle to breathe. The other times it was more, I just was coughing things up. This time I didn't cough anything up. And they kept trying to get me to cough things up, and I kept saying, I don't know what you want me to cough up, because there's, you know, I'm just not finding anything to do. So anyway, that's my story about where I stand. And so from this point on, I will have Rich fast forward you. I think I gave you the whole update. My next plan is, I thought I would show you how to put together the dies that go with this set. It's kind of an intricate die, but it's not really. So there are, I mean, like I said, this is not a new set, but I figured I would show you this so that you know how to do it. I'm going to use my my favorite thing, Color Box Razzleberry. Keep in mind, they don't make these inks anymore, in case you were wondering. They don't make them. But, you know, every company has some kind of ink color like this. It's not like you'll never find this color. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I'm going to do the tops of some of these. There's that one, which has way too much stuff on it. There should be, yeah, 4. Here's the 4th one. I don't know why I ignored that one when I was doing it. And this one I'm going to do around the bottom, like that, and around the top, like that. And then I do think, I'm not sure. I'm going to do something with the stamen, which is this right here. So you got to, you know, I want to make it a color. I think I just make it black. And when you color that, you need to color the front and the back, because it is something that will show sometimes. Well, at least the edges will. So then I want to pop it out and get my edges. And this is one of those ones that has all these little teeny tiny points. So you got to get all those little edges, because you don't want it to show against the white. And I also, I'm going to grab one of my glitter markers, the Ink of Stella, And I want that to be black, if I have black, which I'm sure I do. These ones really have a problem with, it's probably my fault, with bleeding everywhere. And I think, like I said, I don't think I turn this cap on tight enough when I first get them, which, you know, once you take them out of their, take that little strip out, there's a little, I don't know, little, I'll show it to you, hold on, I have two that I never opened, so I can show you this. When you take this out, when you first get it, look at all that black I got on me, when you take this little plastic piece out, you have to crank them shut the whole way. And I think my issue is I don't do a good job of cranking them shut, just so you know. That's my deal. So my little black piece is now black and glittery. Then these pieces are pink and probably going to be black in a second. Let me wipe my hands off because you know it's going to end up being all over me. Because it can. And I'll show you how to put them together. The one thing I used Michael's really thick heavyweight cardstock, and then I put all this pink ink on there, so it makes it so that some of these don't die cut as well as they could have. So the first thing you're going to do, you need two things. Oh, I forgot to do my leaves. Here are my green markers, and I'm going to color with the bigger tip so that we've got a green leaf. And then I'm going to cover, and I'm doing this with my alcohol markers that, you know, obviously you can figure that out because I got it right here in my hand, clearly. And if you don't like the color of that, if you think it's too dark or too it doesn't work well with the other green, then I recommend going over it again with your lighter green. Then what we're going to do, better cover that up. I'm going to show you what you do next. So you're going to take your leaf. And in my case, I have this leaf that is straight, oops, on the left edge. And if you can see, this piece is also straight on the left edge. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to flip it over, and we're going to put a little bit of our Barely Art glue on here. And if I haven't told you this lately, or in a video lately, I really like this glue. If you have, that's weird, it's upside down again. If you have arthritis or any kind of trouble with gluing down anything, and you can't use the fine tip applicators, I highly recommend this because I can squeeze this out, and I can't squeeze out any fine tip applicator glues consistently. I can glue them out, hold them and glue them sometimes, but not all the time. Okay, hopefully you can see this. Can you see now that we've got two colors in that leaf? I dig this. And then I'm going to just do this one around the edge because I think it'll be easier to do like this. And then I'm going to put this up this side. Can you see that glue? Ooh, stuck to me. Stuck to me. Hold on. Get off. Ugh. These are the issues I have. I don't know what my deal is. Okay, back to our leaf that doesn't want to play with me. So you want to just line it up with the side like that, and then you're going to wipe off the excess glue because you were dumb enough to glue it wrong. Should have glued it on the back like I did the other one, but I didn't. So those are my two leaves. They look like this. I think they're lovely. Here is my stems. Now we're going to do this one. And here's how you do it. Okay, so this is our biggest piece. I've seen this done where people started with their smallest piece. And the way they did it was, this is the very top of my smallest piece. I did it backwards. I should have put some up there instead of down at the bottom. I'm going to just put a little there. Okay, so I put some up there. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take this one and you're going to slide it into the next biggest one. And your goal is to slide it in there like, hold on, sometimes you got to kind of squeeze this piece. That, oop, not that much. Don't want to have the problem I just had where I put a bend in it. And then what you want to do, see the bottom, how these two have the exact same piece at the bottom? What you want to do is you want to match those two. And before you finish matching them, you want to get your glue and you want to put a little dollop right down there. And then you want to make sure you go back to lining it up exactly like you did before. See how it's perfectly lined up? Good job. Next piece you're going to take, and it's this one. How do I have some weird stuff stuck to it? I do not know. And there, and again, this is your bottom. You're going to take that and you're going to slide it in here. Again, remember that bottom edge is going to be what you line up. So we're going to take this and we're going to hold it up to straighten it out so that it lines up exactly with those other two. But first, we're going to put that little dot of glue right there because, you know, we need that little dot of glue. Now we're going to hold them for just a second. And then, oh, I forgot to put the stamen in here. Before I did all that, I should have put our little stamen in there, which I didn't do. So then you're going to go back to your center of your flower. And the last time I did this, I couldn't get my little stamen all the way in there because I glued it all together and I had a moment, you know, where I lost my mind. You need to glue it in there. So I'm just going to put a little dot behind it. And then we'll glue it in there later. Well, I mean, it's glued in there, but we won't worry about it later is what I mean. Jeepers. Just don't do what I do. Do what I say. So you're going to take this piece and you're going to pull out your biggest piece. If I didn't say this, it goes in size order, smallest to biggest. And again, see the pieces? We're going to line them up. And we're going to pull this forward and put a little drop there and a little drop over here and a little drop right there. Just because I said I could. And then I'm going to take all of my little pieces and I'm going to line them all up so that they're all laying exactly behind these. And it looks like this. How to get some weird dirt? Ugh, don't even ask. Don't even think about it. Don't think about it. So that is what our flower looks like. I think it looks great like this. Let's get our card base. So my card is going to be 5.5 inches tall by 4.25 inches wide. And I haven't decided yet if I'm going to use this or not. I'm definitely going to use that little, the little bud. And I'm going to get my blender because I decided my little bud needs to have less color right there. You'll see this in a second. And I wish I could get that mark off there. It's bugging me. It's bugging me a little bit. Okay, there's that one. So let's put this together. This is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So it will be just 1/8 of an inch smaller than our card. And, oh boy, I'm having all kinds of issues today with getting things stuck to my fingers. And I don't know why. I don't like it. Okay, I'm going to use my glue and go down this border, or this edge with it, because I've already had some issues with not getting my glue lined up with my tape runner. These are the things I don't understand why I can't do them right. There is that. I'll put that out of the way. And let's line this up. It's going to be very, very, very thin border. Like that. I'm going to put a little ribbon down. I had some fun ribbon that I thought would look really good on this. Alright, so what I've done now, I've put a new ribbon in place, and I added a little bit of marker on either side of the stem because it seemed like the stem was just too narrow to hold up this big flower. I don't think it looks bad. Doesn't look horribly great, but it doesn't look bad. And then I decided I have these leaves I cut out, and I thought what I would do is glue them over the leaves that are on the bud, like there, and then up here. So that's what I'm going to do next. You know how it goes. I have to come up with a plan, and then once the plan doesn't work, and then I have to come up with plan B. That was the problem with the ribbon. It didn't want to play with me. Just saying. So I'm going to put this one like that. Wipe off the extra glue. Hopefully get rid of that glue. And then this one, I'm not sure how I'm going to get it under there, but I'm just going to put glue where I know I can reach it. Know what I mean? Okay, let's see. That worked, no problem. Now, can I grab onto it? I don't know. Okay. I like that. But I think what I need is a little bit of dimension on that bud. So I'm going to get my diamond glaze, glossy accents, whatever you call it. Figuring out where I put it is always the issue. So here's what happened. I decided I was going to make this covered in diamond glaze, the bud. I did that. It looked terrible. So luckily it was glued on. So I ripped it back off, and I decided to go to plan B, which is coloring 2 of these little buds. One I'm going to layer on top, and one I'm going to have just underneath. And I know what you're thinking, why is she coloring the one underneath? It's so I know exactly what I want in my colors. Know what I mean? Sometimes when you do things like this, you want to make sure that you didn't screw the whole thing up. And to color the first one, then you get a good idea of that. Now, when I'm coloring, if you want something to look rounded, if the center is a lighter tone, and I'm going to use this peach color that I used before, I'm going to use that on the center, and then I'm going to put the other colors around it. I'm not sure if this is the color I just used. This is why it's smart to use a couple of buds to make sure that you got some good practice in, and you know what colors worked and what colors didn't work. I'm going to go back over this with the bubblegum pink. Everything that's dark is going to have bubblegum on it. Not actual bubblegum. It could have actual bubblegum. You never know with me, right? More likely to have dog hair. Now, maybe I'll color the center with the pink. This is the lighter shade of pink. This is the 48 Aurora pink. And then I'm going to do this sides a little bit darker. Even though I'm practicing, this is not the one you're going to see. I just want to make sure that I have a plan. That's my one I'm going to use on top. And then this one, I'm going to go over the center again with the very light color. This will blend it all out, and it'll make it all lighter again in the center. It's just kind of a cool way to do it. When I do my original, I think I'll put more bubblegum pink on the edges. So let's get serious about gluing this bad boy back over that circle-y spot we have left behind. Now we're going to go back over it with our pale peach so we can kind of get our center lightened up. And I think I'm going to do a little bit more bubble gum over here, because I can. And then I'm going to go back over the sides with our lighter pink. If at any point you want to lighten your image, what I recommend you doing is using either a very light color in the same color family, like a really light pink or peach as I'm doing, or use your blender pen. I prefer using my color family whenever I can, because then I kind of have an idea of the color it's going to turn out in the end. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So this is the color it's going to be now. And so I'm going to put a glue dot, a partial glue dot, on the bottom part of it. And as I said before, you don't want much. And I'm going to use this half a one, just like this. And I'm going to put it, it's probably still too big. Well, let's cut that in half. I think I'm going to go like that and see if that's, I might just use this little teeny tiny piece. We'll see which one holds it. Don't know if you saw the little teeny tiny piece that I had, but I have this little teeny tiny piece. See it? There's the big one. There's the little one on my fingers. Okay, I'm going to see if that one will hold it, because I don't want a ton. And then I also want to be able to lay the top portion. I'm going to do that and turn it more. Nope, that's too far. More like that. You see how that is? Put that back on my sheet. And I think I want to also add a little bit of glue, just in case we end up, that's still too much. I guess I'm going to have to use that other partial piece because it's so little that I can't make it, I'm not going to be able to make it move so it's part of it's, you know, like raised and part of it's lowered. Like the flower and the leaf, because it's just not big enough to do that. And then if somebody wants to look under it, they will be able to see that foam square, but what are you going to do? You know, you can only do what you can do. You know what I'm saying? That foam square is too big. I'm going to see if I can just cut a part of it off on the sides, because I don't want a ton of foam square. All right. Now I'm going to lay that piece back down. And I'm going to try and lay it over the existing one. Okay. Actually, I'm so much happier with this one than I was with the last one. The last one looked so bad. Okay, next up, let's put some of these little glitter pieces that are all stuck together. Ugh, why do they make these things stuck together? I just hate that. You know what I mean? Like, why? Why can't they make them so that they're little individual fellas, so that I don't have to be doing what I'm doing right now? As I told you, I have some spots where I got, I don't know what on them. I don't know what I got on here. I'm just saying I got something on here. So I'm going to do this. Oh, I was going to show you a trick. If you know anyone who does diamond paintings, and you're close enough that you could say, hey, would you send me some of your tools? Because every time you do a diamond painting, you get tools. With each diamond painting, you get one of these tools and one of these pats of wax and one of these trays. All of them are hugely helpful if you have a bunch of, I'm trying to see if either of these were used so I can, that one I think has wax in it. Okay, so I don't have to wax it up. Very, very helpful in card making, because you can just do this. You're going to put a little piece there. And why do I always struggle when I can do things so much easier? I do not know. I do not know. Okay, now I'm having issues. These are the things I do not understand. Ugh, okay, now I've got it. Now we've got it. So that's 3 over there. Okay. I'm happy with that. Should I put another? I'm losing my mind now, right? Stop it, Sandy. You've done enough. Oh, maybe I should have some down there. Oh, man, Sandy, stop with this. It's crazy. It's crazy talk. I'm still doing it. Do any of you do this? It seems like I'm losing my mind sometimes where I just can't stop myself. I'm doing it anyway. Put one there. I like it a lot better now that I have diamonds all over because, you know, I like blingy, glittery things. So I hope that you enjoyed this card. It was a lot of fun, and hope that you'll give it a try and that you'll give this a thumbs up and subscribe, and please tell your friends about me on social media because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.